Alright, what's going on, guys? Episode 2 of Pet. I know I said I would stop at episode 1, but I changed my mind! We're doing episode 2. It's just too crazy not to talk about. So with that said, let's get started. So remember how episode 1 ended in a very enigmatic fashion? The dreadlock guy, Jamaican dude with the Hawaiian shirt, he was all paranoid and crazy, and then all of a sudden he's in a bar and he's very calm and placid, and we're like, well, what the heck just happened there? Well, it turns out the two main characters of the series, Hiroki and Tsukasa, decided to erase his memories from the night before. However, Katsuragi decided that that wasn't enough, and he decided that he wanted them to crush his memories. Just completely eviscerate his internal psyche, do to him what they did to his friend, and basically leave him to be a vegetable and off him. That way he doesn't talk to the cops, that way he's out of the picture, and they don't have to worry about him. Problem solved. However, Hiroki feels very empathetic towards the dude. He's like, no, we can fix this. We don't have to end it that way. So him and Tsukasa decide that they're going to rewrite his memories. Very Inception-esque. However, the manga for Pets came out prior to Inception. So, Christopher Nolan, I think it looks like you plagiarized some anime. But anyway, Hiroki and Tsukasa go into his memories, and a very interesting little scene. Hiroki turns into a fish, and Tsukasa turns into like a stream of water. They go inside the memories, and if you didn't see the first episode, Pet basically goes off of the premise that everyone inside their memories has peaks and valleys. The peaks being the good moments of your life, and the valleys being the depressed, bad moments of your life. So they can't throw it out of balance too much, otherwise the mind collapses and they become a vegetable. As noted by the fact that when Katsuragi was trying to manipulate the dreadlock dude's friend, he messed up. He went into a very repressed memory, and he messed up the dude completely, and that's why in the first episode, he looked like a child with no sort of cognitive capacity beyond maybe like a 3-year-old. So Hiroki wants to be very delicate. He doesn't want to ruin the guy's memories. He just wants to alter them in a way where he forgets about his friend and he's not going to implicate them in any sort of wrongdoing. So they're going throughout the memories. They're trying to find one where they can manipulate, but they're finding it relatively difficult. And, some interesting scenes here too. We have a moment in the bar where, there's some women with their tits hanging out, and then they turn into inflatable sex dolls. At one moment, one of the women's vages just starts talking. So very weird moments. And there's a lot of stuff I'm going to glean past. You can kind of watch it for yourselves. Katsuragi at one moment decides that they're not going quick enough. He gets impatient. He goes in there and he almost ruins the whole process. And Hiroki is very exhausted. It looks like this whole process of entering memories is a very mentally taxing process. So they have to be very careful so that they don't overwhelm themselves. But anyway, they're able to finally get to the point where they find a good memory inside the dude's head, and then they change it in a way where he forgets about the dude that passed away, and now he believes that Katsuragi was the one that gave him the inspiration behind starting the bar and starting a new life for himself. A life that is very fulfilling and without crime. And that's the end of the episode. So in terms of what I liked and disliked, again, the animation was pretty weak. Even though it was creative, there were a lot of things I didn't expect, especially like with the fish and like the women in the bar. And then there was a scene with the dreadlock dude when he was a child and he was being beaten by his mother. So a lot of interesting scenes, and I appreciate the creativity. However, I still feel like the animation was relatively pedestrian throughout. The characters are very enigmatic. I'm very interested to see how they sort of develop throughout the series. However, I feel like the two main characters, Hiroki Yuki and Tsukasa are sort of developing a bromance. Things are getting a little bit gay, if you know what I mean. Nothing wrong with that. I have no qualms. Just saying that it's got sort of that banana fish sort of vibe. So, we'll have to see how that sort of plays out. And really not much else to say. I mean, it's very cryptic. It's very confusing when you're watching it. So you really need to pay attention. So I feel like in that regard, it is engaging. It's probably not a good anime, but it's an anime that can stand on its own weight, and it's got enough going in terms of the plot where I can sort of ignore some of the blemishes in terms of the weak characters and the substandard animation. But yeah, that's about it for this episode, guys. We'll leave it there for now, and I'll catch you on the flip side.